Welcome back to the next episode on double-stranded knitting. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the most common type of combination that you'll be using with double-stranded. And we'll see how you can make that a little bit easier and how you can make sure that you get the right gauge with that and how you check that. We are now taking a look at the most common combination, which would be using a very lightweight lace weight mohair or alpaca yarn and combining it with a fingering weight or possibly with another lace weight. Now the biggest benefit of this is, as you can see, when you've got a single ply of a lace weight, it's super fine. But because of the fact that it's got that fluff coming out from it, it actually, and it goes a long way. So this fluff, when you knit it, actually really fills in the stitches so that it creates a different effect than you would expect from something that's just a lace weight. So first of all, I'm going to move these ones out of here because that's lace weight combined with lace weight. And we're first of all going to take a look at lace weight combined with a fingering weight. So the yarns I've got here are this one is a Bloss Delight, and this is also Bloss Delight. This is a woolen spun yarn that is a fingering weight. Move that over here. So when I say it's woolen spun, it means that when it's carded, it's got its crisscross fibers so that the shorter hairs are all trapped in there, and it's a single ply. So it means that it's not going to be terribly strong. So if you pull it, it pulls apart really easily. So it's actually quite a breakable yarn. So I will come back to talk about that. So when you combine that with the mohair, the woolen yarn also has quite a bit of stickiness to it. So look what happens when I put the mohair next to it. Even holding them together, they kind of have a bit of cohesion. They stick a little bit together. This one here is Caprito, and Caprito is a blend of mohair, silk and polyamide, and it's a very fine lace weight. So when you knit it together with this is it knit together, oh beg your pardon, I think it's knit with this one. I'm pulling the strand up on the top here so we can kind of see the end. So it's a lighter weight one, so it's this color here knit with this. It is giving you a fairly lightweight but still nice and fluffy yarn. And you'll notice something else as well. This Caprito is hand dyed. And so when you've got it in like this, or looking at the individual strands, because it's so fine, you're not really aware of it. But when it's knit together with the other one, you actually get some very soft, subtle, beautiful color combinations running through it. So lace weight allows you to actually take a fairly different color yarn and knit it together with the solid color, getting just a really soft variegation. Over here, this is the other combination. I'll open this one up, and this uses Bloss Delight again, but it's combining it with Cumulus. So this is an alpaca and silk blend, so 74% alpaca, 26% silk. And it's also lace weight, but let me hold it up here. You can see it is thicker. So what that's going to mean is the fluffy yarn is going to fill in the same way as the other one did, but because it is definitely thicker, you're going to want to use a bigger needle size. This is also a solid color, and so you can see you get just very soft yarn running up through here. So I've actually got a couple of combinations here. These were used with the Iskra sweater, but they combine primarily different Capritos with different Bloss Delights. So you can kind of see how this is a very soft combination with the hand dye going through. This again has got just little bits of different colors running through, and a lot of these we were trying to match closely so there's not a huge amount of color coming through of different variations. This again it's a solid fingering weight yarn, and that's variegation going through is all from the hand dyed yarn being paired with it. So it is a lovely way of getting that beautiful color combination coming through when you're doing it. And when I was talking before about the fact that this pulls apart so easily, when you pair it with a mohair in particular, which is very strong, so pulling that, and it's got a huge amount of strength, so actually knitting it together like this, you're creating a much stronger yarn. So it really benefits this yarn holding it with that mohair, because it gives you a little bit of strength and a lovely halo to go with your yarn. So that is the first one we look at. I will come back and look at the gauges in a minute, but first I wanted to take a look at the other combinations. So this is where I'm still using fluffy yarn, but instead of combining it with the fingering weight, I'm actually combining it with itself. So in this particular one, we've got caprito and caprito, so two very light lace weight yarns, knit with a slightly bigger needles, and it creates a very, very lightweight but extremely warm fabric. And one of the biggest things you'll find when you're knitting with lace weight is with a fluffy lace weight is you need to actually use a bigger needle size than you think. So as we're looking at this here, the two needle sizes used in this were, for the bottom one was a 3mm and the top one was a 4. You think 3mm was going to work, but that was really, really uncomfortable to knit with. It creates a stiff, very dense fabric that doesn't really breathe. Whereas moving up to 4, I can immediately feel that this has got a bit of pliability, but it's still got warmth and it's got really nice stitch definition still. So very, very important to remember when you're combining fluffy yarns is you will often want to go up a needle size more than you think because of that fluff. So this one here is taking two cumulus. So this is the fiber space cumulus I was talking about. It's a brushed alpaca and silk, but this, even though it's a lace weight, it's a much heavier lace weight. So if I pull this one up here, see how fine that yarn is, and I put it together with this. So you can see there is a difference, and when you hold it in particular, there's a bit more density to this. With the result, when you're working with this, you really need to go up needle sizes. So on this one, we've got 3 different needle sizes going through. It's from 5mm, 6 to 7. And so the gauge I was getting over 4 inches or 10 centimeters was it went from 16 stitches in 4 inches to 15 to 14. And kind of looking through it, this one, it creates a very solid, even density, but it is going to be a little thicker. I think the middle one, it's a little open, a little gappy, but I think in terms of wearability, I suspect this may be where you want to be, but only if you're knitting something that can handle something that's a little more open like this. So that's kind of creating a heavier weight fluffy yarn if you're using combinations of the two. So now let's go back to these ones here. This one was our fingering weight, Bloss Delight, combined with caprito. So this one was the lighter weight fingering, and this one was our Bloss Delight combined with cumulus, which is the heavier weight. So we actually used different needle sizes going through. So this one here, I should turn this around so that we're starting from the smallest to the biggest. And you can see here we use 4, 5 and 6 going up here, and I'll pull this one up here. This one went from 5 to 6 to 7 because of the fact that this is a heavier yarn, so you're going to want to use a bigger needle size. So this ranged, I think you can see on the bottom one here, I think this is too stiff. This is 4mm. It gives a gauge of about 22 stitches. It's a little bit stiff. This one is 5 and gives 20 stitches per 4 inch, and that feels nice to me. It's a nice density of a fabric, feels really good. This one, you'd have to have the right pattern for it because it's a bit loose, a little loose and open, so this would be very pattern specific, but it wouldn't be a fairly typical gauge. So this is kind of a nice sweet spot here where you're getting 20 stitches per 4 inch with your 5mm needles. And now over here where we've got our cumulus, the 5mm was getting an Aran weight gauge. It was kind of 18 stitches. 6mm was a loose, I suppose a larger Aran gauge, 17 stitches. And again, that feels quite nice. This one works. It's a little bit stiffer, but not too bad. And this one is quite loose up here. This is 7mm and it comes out at 17 stitches. So this is if you're doing a very open work fabric. So it just really gives you a very clear picture when you see all of these worked through, how when you add something fluffy, it really quite dramatically changes the gauge, and you do need to work your way through a lot of different needle size to fully start seeing the impact of what it looks like. So Keep in mind that the fabric has to feel really nice is the most important thing. And after that, just kind of taking a look at the colors, the combinations, and matching your pattern. So now we've taken a look at the most common combination for double stranding, which would be one strand of a lace weight, brushed mohair or brushed alpaca. Mohair probably a little bit more common, combined with the fingering weight yarn. And I wanted to show you that in action in a pattern. So this is the Iascura pattern here, which is brioche pattern, knit in the round from the bottom up, that combines two yarns. It combines a lace weight, Capriccio is the name of the yarn, which is primarily mohair with a little bit of silk and polyamide in it, but very fine hand-dyed mohair. So it gives very, very subtle color variations going up through it as you knit with it. And it's paired with our Bloss Delight, which is a fingering weight in a woolen spun yarn, and it's a single ply. So that mohair gives the single ply a lovely strength. And we've got a bunch of combinations of it here. So you can see how with some of the hand-dyed ones, it's going to have much more color variation going through it. So this is actually one of the most popular ones. It's really, really pretty. The green, I was going to say blue, greeny blue, I suppose, really running through it. And that very, very subtle combination from the fine, fine lace mohair going through. So just to give you an idea of how you can combine it together and the really nice soft halo effect you get in a pattern from it. Thank you so much for watching today. If you are curious about any of the patterns or any of the yarns that I've been using, you can find the links down below in the description where you'll have a link to all of them there. Now, if you're not yet a subscriber, make sure you click that subscribe button so that you don't miss the episode that's coming up next, where we'll be taking a look at how you can take different yarn weights together, knit them together, and figure out what the resultant yarn weight is going to be. Get a whole new gauge, make a brand new use of your stash.